to Takeoff, a Points and Miles podcast by 10X Travel. I'm your host, Bryce. Today, I'm joined by Emily. It's going to be just the two of us, and we are switching things up. We're going to play a little game of Would You Rather, Points and Miles edition, exploring some classic kind of trade-off scenarios, teasing out preferences, things like, choosing between Emirates First Class to staying 7 nights in Paris instead of 3. We're going to walk through those tough choices that points people face each and every day. I wish I faced these choices every day, but I guess collectively we do. I imagine we'll disagree on a few and dive in a little bit deeper, but I'm looking forward to this, and I hope you are as well, Emily. So to start off, I guess, how are you doing?
I'm great. Yeah, I had to make sure my answers were ironclad before this. I can't have anything slip through the cracks.
Oh, that's fine. Actually, that brings me to my first kind of surprise would you rather that came to mind here. Would you rather have one of our podcast episodes become well known for being super academic and on it, like it's in a Harvard Business Review someday? Or would you rather have it go viral for some silly kind of off the rails conversation about would you rather be a squirrel or a dolphin?
Oh, there's a would you rather in a would you rather right there.
Yes. So if you want to weigh in on squirrel and dolphin, feel free. But
no, I think we've already kind of been through the virality for a dumb conversation. So maybe I'll be in the Harvard Business Review. That sounds fun.
Well, we have our first disagreement because I would pick the off the rails craziness.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is talk about how Memphis is a dupe for Nashville, and you'll get there.
Yeah, you're right. That was a fun time. Well, a couple quick notes before we get started. If you're new to this and you're not in these would you rather scenarios yet, I would encourage you to go back, check out episodes 1 through 6 of our show. That's where we cover a lot of the basics of points and miles. It'll get you started on your journey to be making decisions like the ones we're going to talk about. Be sure to also sign up for our free web tool, My 10X, which makes everything about points and miles game easy. You can see and manage all your cards in one place. You can see your points totals in one place, get customized card recommendations, find lounges for your next trip. Once again, entirely free. You can sign up right now by visiting my.10xtravel.com. Be sure to check out our 10X Travel Insiders Facebook group, which is just shy of 400,000 members these days. It's growing pretty quickly. Hop in, share your own would you rathers, have conversations like this. Take out whatever device you're listening on right now. If you would give us a 5-star review, maybe share this with a few of your friends, add a comment if you'd like. We would greatly appreciate that. Help spread the word. Let us know how we're doing so we can make this as impactful, fun, and maybe off the rails as all of you would like. So in today's episode, as I mentioned, we're going to toss out some real world travel dilemmas and debate which redemption is the better deal or more preferable, if you will. Business class versus economy 5 times a year, Hyatt versus Hilton, booking now versus waiting for last second. You get the idea. It's not about right or wrong answers. It's about how you travel, what matters to you, and how to use points to make that happen. So with that said, Emily, are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Round 1 talks about flights. And the first question here is, Emily, would you rather fly Emirates First Class once, which is probably about 150,000 points, depending where you're going, or fly business class to Europe twice? We're looking at probably 60,000 to 70,000 points each way.
Well, I think the first part is that if I fly Emirates First Class once, I'm stuck. How do I ever get home? So I think I, by default, have to pick business class twice because at least, I have a way to get home. But putting that aside, I still think I pick business class to Europe twice. Or 2 tickets at least. And I think that's mostly because I haven't experienced the first class yet, really. I've flown American Airlines first class, but I would not say that that's comparable to Emirates in any way. So this is kind of like the economy versus business class debate, where when I was just an economy flyer, I was like, why would I ever fly business class? Who needs that? That's for crazy people. And now I'm like, who needs the first class? I've flown business class. I'll stick to that. But there's been a lot of debate around the first class cabin on Emirates on this podcast. So I think I'm the only one left without a shower. So that might sway me.
Yeah. And I guess if you went straight to the first class option, you might ruin business class by, it would feel not as fun going back. So I can respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess as someone who's tried both of these things, my initial thought was Emirates First Class. I think if you get a chance to do kind of the really high-end stuff in travel with points and miles, I think you do it. Even though it might seem ridiculous, even though you don't have a flight home, you might end up asking yourself, would I rather live in Europe or go back to America? You might not even have to go back.
Yeah. Well, if that's the would you rather,
there we go.
Stay in Europe.
Yeah. Does this ticket come with citizenship?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're going to see that throughout the rest of this episode for me too. I like to go for the super high end stuff, even if it's just like a more limited experience to try it, because that's still where I get a lot of that kind of like wow of this hobby. And that diminishes over time. It feels like a lot of us spend the rest of our lives like kind of trying to recreate that first redemption high that we get.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like some insane trip. So I am at the point where I'm just going for the best stuff and trying to get that as best as I can. So, but I can respect that choice.
Yeah.
Next up, would you rather book business class using 85,000 Aeroplan points with a transfer bonus or 60,000 Turkish miles without a bonus? Now there's some kind of nuance to this. So first, the option A, if you will, the Aeroplan with the bonus. If you have, say, a 20% transfer bonus, you'd only be transferring about 71,000 transferable points to do this. You're going to have more routing flexibility and partner options. You don't have to call, unlike Turkish. And we actually just had this debate in the Facebook group last week of like how some people just really, really do not like to talk on the phone to people. I respect it.
Yeah, we did.
But with Turkish, you get the incredibly low value, 60,000 miles, for business class to Europe, lower taxes and fees. You only have one major bank transfer partner. But for me, really what it comes down to is it feels like this question is asking the value points versus burden of booking.
Yeah. That's exactly what it comes down to for me. And I think, like, to be clear, this is booking the same flight, right? It's like, do you pay a few extra miles and book with Aeroplan, or you save a few to book the same exact flight with Turkish? And not only is Turkish kind of a pain to book sometimes, but I feel like it just makes the management of your booking a little bit more difficult. Like the customer service that I've had with Aeroplan has always been far easier and better. So for me, if it's a difference of like, what is it, 10 or 11,000 points after the transfer bonus, I might just pay the extra for the convenience.
Completely agree for all the same reasons. I'm kind of sitting here thinking about reframing this as, would you like go through all of that process if you were given 11,000 points afterward?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't think so. So yeah, Aeroplan, keep it simple. Same page there. Next up, this one hits home for those of us who live in places like Ohio.
Yeah.
Would you rather position to a different city to get a better award flight or fly from your home airport, even if it's a worse routing?
I guess it depends what's the worst routing? Does it just mean you have a layover?
Yeah, I guess let's kind of give some framing to that. Let's say it's going to add one additional stop that you wouldn't have otherwise had to make. And that stop is not like a convenient 3-hour layover with a lounge. Like it's 6 or 7 or 8 hours, just to kind of, make this easier for us to choose here.
Yeah. I mean, I would reposition. I have the flexibility to do so. I'd rather do that. But I guess it would also depend on the price. Like if I could leave for my own airport and it was slightly more expensive than repositioning, but I had to spend 6 extra hours on the way there, I might do that just because the repositioning is going to cost me that much time, if not more anyway. So I've not answered the question at all at this point.
But you're thinking through it. I mean, that's what's going through my mind too, as I'm trying to pick one of these while you're answering. I'll jump in, and if you have kind of a more clear choice, feel free to follow along. But I'm going with repositioning here, and I think that this is kind of leaning into #family travel. But there's fewer things about travel that are more difficult with children than lengthy layovers, especially if it's in an airport that you're not particularly familiar with or has like a transfer between terminals. It might involve a bus. That's difficult. So for me, I would always rather reposition, and really that's kind of what I know. As I mentioned, being based in Columbus, Ohio, usually my first award searches are Chicago, New York, DC as kind of the origin, because I just assume it's not going to cleanly connect all the way through Columbus. But yeah, I don't mind repositioning all that much and do it all the time.
Yeah. So the inconvenience of repositioning is less inconvenient than having to wrangle all of your children in an airport for like 8 hours.
Yeah, I guess. Although, a lot of times when I reposition, it might be like the night before.
Yeah.
So then I'm in like an airport hotel with all of my children.
Yeah.
So, but still more comfortable than like an airport terminal and a little bit less pressure. Now, that's assuming that everything goes to plan, of course.
Right.
It would be awful if we, miss the origin, then there's a whole nother set of problems. But
yeah, there is that complexity to it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think repositioning is probably my would you rather choice.
Boom. It's a consensus.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Round 2, hotels. First question, would you rather stay at the Park Hyatt Paris Vendôme for 3 nights, about 35,000 points a night, or the Hyatt Regency Paris for 7 nights at about 15,000 points per night? So it's your classic quantity and quality.
This one for me is an easy choice, mostly because it's a city hotel. And I think I've been on the other side of this debate with Travis before, but for the sake of this one, like in Paris, you want to be out exploring, like doing all this cool stuff. I'm going to pick the Hyatt Regency. I'd rather stay there for more nights, even though the Park Hyatt sounds real nice for 3 nights, but I want max time in the city that I'm staying in. And if the Hyatt Regency can do that for me for 15,000 points, I think that might be standard or off peak, but yeah. That's the one for me.
Yeah, and the Hyatt Regency Paris is not too shabby.
Right. Yeah,
like it's not. This isn't Comfort Inn versus the Four Seasons. So yeah, this is tough. I'm leaning option A, Park Hyatt for 3 nights. I feel like if it was like 1 night versus 4 nights, I'm leaning toward the quantity. But 3 already feels like enough in Paris, and this is just such a incredible property. It's like in the the Mount Rushmore of points and miles hotel award options, definitely on that list. Has been for a long time. Perfect location in the city, incredible luxury and service. And again, I'm just sticking with my theme of go for less of the high end thing.
Yeah.
3 nights in Paris feels like enough. Have you stayed there? I have not stayed there. I visited the property. Okay. Which is like the thing that everyone does before they try to ultimately book it with points. Like you kind of check it out while you're in town. Like, is this really worth all those points? But I mean, I was blown away, and I've not heard a bad word said about it by any of our readers over past decades. So I think I'm going to be happy there.
When we were in Paris and Lisbon in 2023, I was really trying to book the Park Hyatt because I think we were in Paris for exactly 3 nights. And sometimes it can be a hard property to book, especially in peak season.
Absolutely.
So the Hyatt Regency, though, that was an option too.
Yeah, that seems to almost always be an option in my experience.
Yeah.
And 15,000 points a night in Paris, fantastic.
Yeah, I was peeking ahead in the discussion questions for today, and that'll come back.
It will. This next question, kind of a similar vibe. Would you rather stay at a chain hotel with elite benefits like breakfast and lounge access, or a boutique property with a more local experience but no perks?
I would like the boutique property, please. That one, I just feel like there's a lot more charm. And to be fair, like when I'm considering like a boutique property, I'm still considering ones that can be booked through a hotel loyalty program. But like I would still consider like some of the SLH hotels to be kind of like boutique properties. There's definitely some unique types of places that you can book with your points through just a standard loyalty program. So I'm counting those because I like those and I can book them with points. I'd rather stay there than like kind of your cookie cutter chain hotel experience.
Yeah, I think cookie cutter is a great way to describe it. And that's why I agree with you. I would go boutique. Because, I don't know if you're to this point yet, but it feels like once you've been doing this for long enough, hotels all start to kind of blur together if they're at all cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So it just like, you almost feel like you're not even cognizant of kind of where you are because it feels very similar to many other hotels you've been at before. But the boutique properties can stand out. In my experience, you have like fonder memories of them. It feels a little bit more fresh. And it's like, I don't know, it's like trying a new restaurant that has a totally different food focus than anything you've had before. And it's like, okay, like let's just get that variance in my life. So
I feel the same. There's nothing that speaks more to that, like you forget where you are in a hotel when it's a standard kind of cookie cutter, is our road trip that we went on where we were gone for 9 months and occasionally we'd not stay in the camper for a couple nights and we'd just be in like a courtyard in, I don't know, Missouri somewhere, and you're just like, am I really here? Am I in Missouri? I'm not sure anymore. And you start to see so many of those And then on the same metaphor with the food, it's like I've eaten every chicken sandwich from every single like fast food restaurant, and those all start to blur together too. So you have to be really, strict with your rankings when you're taste testing across the country.
Yeah, I noticed that myself. There's been multiple times in my life where I'll be staying at an airport hotel, having taken a repositioning flight, ready for the flight the next day. And I'll be like looking up like kind of lounge options for the next day, but it's at the wrong airport. Like I'm in a hotel in like Newark and I'm like, what are the best lounges out of DCA tomorrow? I kind of scroll, oh, this looks good. And then it's like, wait, I'm not even there. Like I forgot where I am. Yep. So yeah, boutique all the way. And in my experience, boutique properties tend to have more kind of variance in room types too, which I really like, especially when traveling with kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you get the plunge pool though? White Lotus callback.
Yes. Plunge pool would be fun. I don't know a lot of airport hotels that would have one of those, as in go back to that. But pool in the room is a huge win for anyone that has kids. Or not. I mean, I enjoy a plunge pool myself.
Yeah. Yep.
One more hotel one here. Would you rather use 30,000 Hilton points for like a Hampton Inn or 8,000 Hyatt points for a Hyatt place, assuming they're both kind of in the same city and location?
I don't even have to think about that one. Hyatt place.
Because you're choosing. Okay, yeah. Good. Is it just kind of a value thing for you, or is that a brand preference, or?
That's just a value thing. I mean, if we're talking like that level of like hotel category, like a Hampton Inn versus a Hyatt place, there's not a lot difference in my mind. So it's really just a price thing. But yeah, I'd rather spend 8,000 than 30,000, I guess, unless I have to transfer the points to get them into those hotel programs, in which case, if I can transfer one transferable point for 2 Hilton points, and then it quickly becomes like a 15,000 points per night Hampton Inn versus an 8,000 Hyatt points per
even
night.
Still though, that's almost double.
Yeah, it is still almost double. I guess it just depends like the value that you place on the type of points that transfer to Hyatt versus the type of points that transfer to Hilton.
Emily's getting deep into kind of the nuance here of like the secondary layers, and I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm going Hyatt place simply because it just feels like better to redeem fewer points. Yeah. Even if like strategy, not even thinking about that kind of secondary layer, it almost feels like you're like, it's such a loophole. Like I only paid 8,000 points to stay here tonight. Like you find that amount of points like in your account that you forget about sometimes. And like it became a hotel room.
Yep.
But you're right. Those two brands are so similar that like if one of them bought the other, the only change you have to make would be to the sign outside. Yeah. And it'd be like, you don't even realize that this is a different thing.
Yep. Yeah. You can still see like the faded Hyatt letters on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's it for hotels. Actually, one more spontaneous one that kind of comes up for me. Would you rather order room service breakfast to like be waiting for you outside of your door, or go down and hit a nice hotel breakfast buffet?
The hotel breakfast buffet.
Good answer.
I'm not a huge like room service person unless I get in somewhere late at night and I just want dinner in my room. But yeah, breakfast, no, I like to get up and start my day and go check out the buffet.
Totally agree. I have eaten too many cold plates of scrambled eggs, bacon in my life. Yeah. It seems to never be timed as you want it.
No. Nope.
All right. Moving on to category number 3, lifestyle redemption. Lifestyle/redemption strategy. Mm-hmm. First question, would you rather use your points to book trips for friends and family or save them for your own luxury experiences?
Oh, when I read this I interpreted this differently, I think. I interpreted it as like use your points to visit friends and family or save them for luxury experiences. But this is different. This is using your points.
I like your interpretation better. It makes it a harder. Yeah.
I mean, I will teach my friends and family how to earn their own points.
Bingo.
These are my hard-earned points. That's not true. I've used them on friends and family before to fly them out for a visit and stuff. And it's always great. And there's few things more rewarding than, saving the day for someone or booking them a flight or, so I don't want to say I would never use them for friends and family. I don't know. Earn enough so that I can do both. How's that answer?
Perfect. Hidden option C. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am leaning toward using it for my own luxury trips for the reason that you mentioned. It's like pretty much anyone can do this. And if you have encountered me at any point in the last decade, I've probably told you about it and offered to help. So if you haven't done it or like put in some effort to do so, you can't expect my points. I'm not going to bail you out. Those are mine. Like you said, my hard-earned points, and I have a taste for luxury travel with them, and I intend to use them that way.
Yep.
So, but option C, earning enough to do both, is of course my preference as well, if it can be done.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. Next up, would you rather earn Marriott Platinum status, staying 50 nights at cheaper properties, or never earn status, but always stay at the best property in each location?
Probably never earn status, but always stay at the best property in each location. So far, I haven't traveled enough to earn status on my own, but with points, I can still stay at the best property in each location for the most part. So I think I'm team never earn status.
I am right there with you. And it's great that the two of us are on this episode. We're missing our two hotel status people.
Yeah, I know.
Who can kind of translate all like, lifetime platinum and all that kind of stuff is just like completely different language to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my tolerance for kind of staying at worse places for like kind of point strategy reasons is diminishing over time. Like I want to experience the trip. I want to, have as much fun as possible on there. And doing that often involves staying somewhere that's convenient or nice.
Yeah.
So status is for others. We'll be at the more convenient hotel, the best choice overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to go here, but I don't know. Maybe Matt and Travis can weigh in on the comments and prove us wrong.
Gonna film like a response episode or video, like weighing in, telling us why we're completely wrong. I'm open to hearing that, but I don't think I'm gonna change my mind.
Yep.
Next question. Would you rather get 2.5 cents per point of value using points for an economy ticket to a destination that you're not particularly excited about, or 1.2 cents per point, about half, for a business class flight to your dream destination?
This is the classic debate that I feel like we've had on this podcast many times. It's like, why does the cents per point matter if you're not even excited to visit that place?
Because you can post it in the Facebook group as if it's like a winning video game score, right?
Yeah.
There's like the scrolling names you can put in 3 letters, cents per point winner. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather get less value. Like, you can even almost remove the business class versus economy element out of this question. Like, I'd rather get less value, regardless of class, going to my dream destination than be able to say I got 2.5 cents per point on, I don't know, going to someplace I don't care about.
I completely agree. And I guess that brings up a question to my mind. Do you even calculate cents per point on your redemptions anymore?
Well, no, but now that I use the redemption tracker, it tells me. And sometimes it's not good, and that's okay. I went to Belize in January of this year, and I probably on the trip total got like maybe 1.5 cents per point. And I didn't even realize that I did that until I was entering it into the redemption tracker, and I was like, oh, well, that's life. I had a good time.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the reason why I asked is that I stopped doing that at some point recently, but did kind of notice that the redemption tracker catches that for me, which is often nice, but sometimes I don't want to know that. It's like, hey, wait, we're talking about how to maximize points, and here's a 1.7. I feel like I can do better. But yeah, as we always cringily say, smiles per mile matters more than cents per point. Hey, but yeah, it's chase the thing that you want, not the deal. But that's hard for a lot of people. And we see that kind of rush of almost like trying to find the lowest gas prices in town, kind of like drives people to chase that high cents per point. And if that's your thing, I respect that too. But I'm fully on look what you want.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely team like sometimes let the deal drive the destination, but don't book it if you're like, oh man, that's, someplace I really don't care about. Then you should just kind of like let it pass you by.
Although I imagine that you're probably in a similar thought to me where it's like you travel enough, you see enough kind of cool and interesting places. Like everywhere feels like it has at least some interest to me. There's very few places where I'm like, I don't even want to go there if it was free or if I could just like appear there. Like, no, I can see the value in everything, but.
Yeah. My struggle in the last like 2 minutes of discussing this conversation is that I can't think to name one single place that I wouldn't want to go. So I'm like
Emily,
trying to think of an example and I can't.
This is your chance to almost re-answer the very first question about like Harvard Business Review versus off the rails. Like, go ahead and throw out a place that you don't want to go to, and then everyone there is going to be in the comments like, "Hey,
I know,
but don't make it Ohio though, because that one gets a little too close to home."
That's the only one I could think of, honestly, and I had to hold back. But I will say, to kind of like put in perspective how hard it is for me to come up with a place I don't want to go. I even would like to go to North Dakota because that's like one of the couple states that I have not been to. So if anyone has any great recommendations for North Dakota, drop them in the comments. I have to go at some point because I am 48 states away. I'm pretty sure it's North Dakota and Hawaii.
Yeah, I guess North Dakota and Hawaii, that has a clear choice for most people.
North Dakota, right?
Obviously. I mean, there's faces like carved into cliffs. You can't see that in Hawaii.
I think that's South Dakota.
Oh, is that in South Dakota? Oh, okay.
I've been there too. Yeah.
A single thing to do in North Dakota. I'd be curious, like if you Googled like best things to do in North Dakota, what comes up?
I'm just gonna let the people tell me what to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just sitting here thinking, how can we try to position North Dakota as a dupe for Hawaii?
Oh, I think we could.
Totally. Fantastic beaches.
Right.
Hiking. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Hiking, I think maybe. There might be some trails.
Hiking probably for sure. Yeah. And maybe a monument, but I guess I need to study up on my geography.
You have to go to the Dakotas. Yeah.
There we go. Let's just call it the Dakotas. We have 49 states.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. And this one, I think it's going to be particularly interesting for us. Would you rather use points for domestic weekend getaways several times a year or save them for one more aspirational international trip? Because I know you were on team domestic for a while, but mostly because of weddings, like attending weddings.
Yeah, I think I'm like mostly clear of that. I don't know. I still might say domestic, multiple domestic getaways, because I think it would be hard for me at this point, like spoiled comment incoming, but like to only do one trip a year. Like that would be very difficult for me because I've conditioned myself with all these points and miles to do so many trips per year, like 5, 6, whether that's domestic or international. I think I got to go domestic getaways purely because there's more of them.
Great answer. And of course, I think we're both probably thinking there's an option C here where it's like earn enough points and miles to do both.
I mean, we could probably answer every single one of these this way.
That's true. That would be a really fun episode. We're just going to like lean away from the clear, Yeah. And I think I'm leaning more international aspirational trip personally. And I guess just to try to kind of riff on that for a bit, I've been to most of the country, although not 48 states, but I've hit kind of all the highlights domestically. So it would be a lot of kind of repeat of places. And if I'm doing an international aspirational trip, it's going to be lengthy, probably at least a couple of weeks. So I do love that kind of travel more than like the quick weekend getaways. Yeah. And there's just seems to be a lot more out there that I want to see and haven't yet.
Yeah.
But I am starting to come back around to domestic travel. It's a little bit easier. Of course, you can do more of it and kind of going back and taking my kids to places that they haven't been. So even if I've been, you still have that kind of fun, like I'm going to show you this thing that I kind of know vibe.
Yeah.
So slightly leaning toward B, but I could see the domestic getaways being an option for me.
Yeah. I think driving around the country just made me want to explore it even more. Like there's so much I had never seen. And now I'm like, I know it's out there and I haven't spent enough time checking out the domestic spots. So,
and if you drive it, you don't even have to use points.
No, unless you want to stay in a Hampton Inn in the middle of
but then you
Kentucky.
Have to use 30,000 points. Yeah. There's not a lot of Park Hyatt choices basically between Kentucky and Nevada.
Right. Yes.
Agreed. So, all right. Moving on here. Next section, lightning round. Emily, would you rather have guaranteed airport lounge access worldwide or guaranteed hotel upgrades?
Hotel upgrades, I think.
Second. Yep.
I don't know. I'm thinking through it, but I still think hotel upgrades. Because like I've lived the no lounge access life and I could go back to that. Like just having an airport beer at a bar is fun. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But going back to the not upgraded rooms at hotels life, I don't know. I don't want to go back to that, I don't think.
I agree. Insert White Lotus meme of I'm too old to not live a comfortable life.
Yeah, at this age, I don't think I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life. Something like that. Yeah.
Yep. We won't try to nail the accent.
No.
But yeah.
No.
And I agree with you. Upgrades, because going backwards in terms of room quality is tough. And of course, you can cash them in at that Hampton Inn in Kentucky on your next drive across the country, and you might get the corner suite that has a conference room in it for some strange reason. Like, have you ever been in some of those strange hotel upgrades where it's like, this feels like this is designed for business use?
Yeah. I will never forget like Matt's upgrade. I think we were in San Diego where he just got upgraded to a gigantic room, but the bed was basically like a giant red sofa.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly.
You are.
He was like, I would like to be downgraded, please.
Yeah. Control Z. Let's reverse that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I recall, that room looks like it was probably empty an hour before check-in. And then someone told them, you have to hit a thrift store and furnish this hotel room in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the outcome looked like. It's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Thank you for this. Sounds good. Yeah. Yep. Or when the upgrade is just like, before you had no view and now you have parking lot view. So congratulations.
Yeah, I do love that. Or the other one that you have to run into is like, yes, we're going to upgrade you to a high floor room. Yeah. But there's earplugs because the floor above you is a nightclub. And don't worry, it ends at 3:30 a.m. I'm like, yep, let's go back.
Shout out Thompson, LA.
Thompson, LA. Yes.
Just the all night.
Man, yeah. And earplugs don't stop that when your whole room is kind of vibrating.
No, yeah. When you can feel it, the sound waves, no, there's nothing you can do.
All right, next one. Would you rather book your travel 11 months in advance or try to find last minute hoard space?
I don't know. The rush of last minute is kind of fun.
I agree. And there's some deals to be found.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a planner at heart. So like I would love 11 months to have something locked in and then take my time to plan things. But for the thrill of it, I'll go last minute.
Yeah, I agree. I think, or of course, ideally, option C, do both. Book something way in advance and then find some last minute stuff. But yeah, there is a thrill to that of like, oh, what's available here that wouldn't have been at any other time except for 48 hours of departure. Mm-hmm. Those are fun.
Yep.
Next question. Would you rather have 5 Hyatt free night certificates or 2 Marriott 85K certificates?
So here's my callback that I was talking about when we were talking about the Hyatt Regency in Paris. 5 Hyatt free night certificates get you 5 nights at the Hyatt Regency in Paris. Because you can use them for up to category 4 Hyatts. So I'm picking the 5 Hyatt certs. The Marriott 85K certificates are nice, but again, I'm going longer stay at a lower tier hotel.
That's my initial answer here as well. I feel like the Marriott 85K certificates are nice, of course. And this question definitely is probing into quantity versus quality. But I'm just losing just enough trust in like the high-end Marriott redemptions like the points that are required. And it just feels like you'll run a search and it's like 170,000 points per night for the one you want. And it's like, still got to top off like an entire trip worth of hotel points for this. So I'm going Hyatt as well.
Yeah. Well, I think you can only top them off up to 15K. So like you're still working with a lower budget than what Marriott's are charging. Right. So like I just used one of these at the Ritz-Carlton Bachelor Gulch in Beaver Creek. And yeah, even it was like the last day that the ski mountain was open. So even in basically off season, I had to use my 85K cert and then an extra 12,000 points on top of it. So if you're transferring those in, 12,000 points could potentially be an extra night at a Hyatt instead of just topping off for your one night just to be able to use your free night certificate.
Yeah, like an 85K Marriott cert could basically be thought of as like, this makes us on par with Hyatt.
Yeah.
You still have to redeem it on top of this, but
exactly.
This is like an adjustment of sorts.
Yeah. And it's tough because like, I think there's only 2 cards that offer the 85K certs. So like realistically, as one person, you're maybe going to have 1 or max 2 of those.
And so at least one of them is only available via product change route, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like there's no great way to use those to make a longer trip. Like the only reason I like to use them is because I can drive to this Ritz-Carlton in Colorado and stay for one night. and get there at 9 a.m. on the day I'm checking in and leave the next day at 4 p.m. and it's basically a weekend. But otherwise, like if you're trying to fly somewhere just to make use of one free night certificate at a nice property, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Although in all fairness, after you've already, no, yeah, you're good. Someone who has driven across the country before, when you say I could drive there, in theory, you could drive anywhere.
I could drive anywhere.
You've kind of done it. You could drive to Miami and cash those in.
Yeah.
It would take like 2 weeks, but 2 nights for less.
Yeah. I think I've actually done that drive in 2 days, so could be worth it.
Wow, that's pretty aggressive. Is that like, how long does it take if you basically only stop to sleep overnight?
Roughly 2 days from Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've driven back.
Hauling.
Yeah, back east a couple of times. And yeah, if you drive 12 to 14 hours each day, then it's 2 days.
So leaving minimal time for side trips to see things like the world's biggest haystack and like those types of, Midwest attractions that are on the road.
No, you're cruising. You're like, oh, there it goes. Okay, I'll count it. I saw it.
All right, next question. Would you rather get 10 cents per point of value on a less than ideal 16-hour economy trip or 1.5 cents per point on perfect nonstop in business? And I already know your answer, and I think it's mine too.
Give me the perfect nonstop in business.
Yes, exactly. Cents per point is overrated.
Yeah, I would love to see the cash price of the flight that gets you 10 cents on a 16-hour economy flight. Because what are they charging to make that happen?
I bet you couldn't even like recreate that if you tried. Like that's
no.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the question, give me the business class.
Agreed. Next question, somewhat similar. Would you rather always fly economy, but you can travel 5 times per year, or you could only fly business class once a year? And just to make this one fun, let's make that an absolute and unchangeable choice. If you choose economy, you can never fly business class. If you choose business, you can never fly economy.
I pick economy 5 times a year. I'll be okay.
I like the way you phrase that. I'll be okay. Not I'll be fine or it'll be good. Like, it's just okay. I'll be okay. Oh man.
I mean, it was tough. Not so long ago that I had never experienced business class. I'll be great, honestly.
Is there any part of you that almost like regrets that you have experienced it? Like, it's almost like the, red pill, blue pill choice. Like, don't make me aware of this additional, dynamic and then I won't want it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm glad I experienced it and will continue to, because I'm picking option C again, which is just earn enough to do.
Yeah. And I guess if we lean into like that absolute framing of it, how does repositioning work? Do I have to fly business class from Ohio to like New York or DC?
You do.
And that changes the answer. Or drive.
Yeah. In your business class car.
I mean, that's good branding. Someone should run with that.
Yeah.
Lie flat seats when driving could be a problem.
I mean, we're getting close with the Teslas, right?
We're getting close, yeah.
Just take a nap now.
I'm not sure how seat belts would work in that regard, but you'd be really comfortable.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going to go with business class. I think economy just feels almost like a step below. Okay. And shout out once again, we acknowledge like, hey, sometimes y'all sound out of trust. And Bryce just said economy feels unpalatable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if nothing else, we're honest. But yeah, economy just kind of hurts after business class for a while. And I think I'm going business class. And I'll drive the rest of the way and I'll get tips from you on how to do that.
Yeah.
All right, last one here in our lightning round. Would you rather have to book all your travel 6 months in advance or only be able to book travel within 14 days of departure? And again, let's lean into absolute mode here. If you choose one, you can't make exceptions. And of course, yes, we can do both. But
6 months. I'm a planner. I would rather book everything 6 months out. It would be sad that I couldn't just on a whim go to Europe for a weekend, like 3 days before. But I'm gonna stay true to myself and pick 6 months.
It's a good choice. If you still want to capture the whim feeling, like you could book it and then like quickly like delete all the emails and stuff, don't track it. And then it would feel like a spontaneous trip when you get like a check-in reminder and you're like, oh yeah, I'm leaving this weekend. So.
Yeah. I mean, it always kind of feels spontaneous because I don't like pack until the day before and then it's just a whirlwind of like, oh my God, what am I going to bring? I have to do laundry, I have to do all this stuff. So I'll create it in other ways.
That whirlwind of packing reminds me of like my own situation. Like when I'm packing and I know that I'm in a whirlwind, I I shift from like strategic, like, okay, like kind of 5 outfits, like these types of shoes, to like basically just going through every single thing in my closet and being like, do I need that or not? Do I need that or not? Do I need that or not? And it's like, all right, like, I think I might be overwhelmed here.
Yeah. You might be doing spring cleaning instead of packing.
That's true. Yeah. And then when I come home, do I need to bring that home? Do I need to bring that home? Or is this the time to refresh my wardrobe?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm choosing 6 months out here. And I think the reason being that the one downside of those kind of spontaneous trips is that you still have to solve for hotel availability and kind of activities. Like it's fun to book a last second trip to Paris, but what if all of the cool stuff is like sold out? Like, oh yeah, can't go to the Louvre, can't go up the Eiffel Tower. You might have to stay at the Hyatt Regency. I mean, what are we going to do? But yeah, I like to have those pieces in place to make sure that you're not just going somewhere to kind of take the picture and be like, I was there and I didn't get to do a lot of things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So 6 months out is my choice as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the PTO and like school schedules to consider. So 14 days is not really necessarily an option for most people.
Indeed. Any other would you rathers jump to mind before we wrap this episode?
No, that was fun. I learned a lot about myself, a lot of reflection.
There we go. That's our primary goal here at 10x Travel, is self-reflection. That's what we do. Well, at the end of the day, points and miles are a tool, not a rule book. What works for one traveler might be totally wrong for someone else. There's no perfect answer to any of these questions, except for the option C that we threw in all of them.
Right, option C.
The best one is the one that fits your goals, your travel style, and your life. So if you want help planning that next redemption, whether it's 14 days out, 6 months out, business class, economy, somewhere that no one else wants to go, maybe to the Dakotas, we can help. Check out our free course and tools inside of My 10X. It helps you compare all of your options, cut through decision fatigue, hire our experts to book the trip for you. You can even toss in some questions on would you rathers that we could maybe answer on a future episode. We're open to it. And if you're ready to level up your award redemptions, you should check out our award booking service and 10X Travel Plus. That's our paid membership program where members get 1 free award booking per year. You can sign up for a couple of consults. I still do a few myself, which is always fun because when I talk to people, they're like, I feel like I'm on the podcast because you have the same background and you're talking, but it's just to me. And it's like, good point. Those are fun. We'll link those in our show notes. You can also find more information on them on our website, 10xtravel.com. If you enjoyed this episode, once again, please leave us a review. It helps other travelers find the show and also helps us understand which episodes you like, which ones you don't like, and we can kind of tailor our content to help you, would you say, find or know more about yourself?
Reflect. Yeah.
Boom. I guess y'all listening who share reviews and comments, that helps us reflect on our podcast and ourselves.
Yes.
And be sure to check out our 10X Travel Facebook group where you can come drop some of your own would you rather questions, whether they be hypothetical just for fun or actual scenarios that you're in. You can get answers from nearly 400,000 other points and miles enthusiasts, help refine your strategy. Just have fun. It's a fun online community, and that's one of the things I enjoy the most about it. So I'm sure once this goes live, we'll be arguing kind of right alongside y'all with some of these would you rathers. Would you rather go to Memphis or Nashville? Like some of the questions that just people want to discuss. They're in there for you. But we are here to help you in any way that we can. We appreciate you listening to this episode. Once again, this is Takeoff, a Points and Miles podcast by 10X Travel. I'm Bryce. She's Emily. Thank you, Emily, for joining us today. And we will talk to all of you next time. Goodbye now.
Thank you.